Hello everyone, so today I'll be showing you how you can crochet this granny square and how you can make a pouch. I did take inspiration from a couple of pictures from Pinterest, so I didn't necessarily make this pattern myself, but I did come up with different color combinations and different stitch combinations that I like to use instead. So you'll need 4 different colors of yarn. You'll need one for the border and for the actual pouch color itself, one for the leaves, one for the petals, and one for the middle of the flower. You also need a pair of scissors, and I'll be using a size 4.5mm crochet hook. Before I start the video, I wanted to let you know that I'm making this bag with a 4.5mm crochet hook. The reason why these two bags are different size, even though I use the same yarn, is because I made this bag with a 3.5mm crochet hook. As you may have seen on my TikTok, it's quite mini, it's smaller than my hand. However, this is practically the same size. I will give you the measurements for both pouches in my description box. To crochet hook to crochet this together, or a 4.5mm crochet hook. The yarn I use is double knit yarn, so I am using a 4.5 crochet hook anyway. So to start off, you want to go ahead and make a magic circle, and for round 1 we will go ahead and chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3. This chain 3 will count as our first double crochet of the round. For round 1 we want to have a total of 16 double crochets, so we'll crochet 15 more double crochets. To double crochet, I'm going to yarn over, go into that magic circle, and I'm making sure I have my tail end on the left hand side so I can crochet over the tail end as well. So I've yarned over, I've gone into my magic circle, I'm going to yarn over and pull the loop through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops of my hook, and yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops on my hook, just like so. So again, I'm going to yarn over, go into that magic circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on my hook, and yarn over and pull through those second 2 loops on my hook, just like so. So including that chain 3, I so far have a total of 3 double crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and make my 4th double crochet, and my 5th double crochet, and my 6th, and you want to just keep on doing this, keep on making your double crochets into the magic circle until you get up to 16 double crochets. You can go ahead and pause the video now and I'll see you there. So I've just completed my 16th double crochet, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that tail end and pull it while holding down onto my work to make that magic circle smaller. Now that we finished the row, I'm going to go into the top of that chain 3 that we made at the start of the round, so you can kind of see that top loop there. I'm going to go ahead and make a slip stitch into that top of the chain. Next, I'm going to find where that chain 3 is and where that first double crochet of the round is. Sorry, I'm not sure if this is focusing properly. So I'm going to go in between that chain 3 and that first double crochet, just like so, and I'm going to go ahead and make another slip stitch. And now it's time for us to change colours. So everyone has different ways of changing colours, but this is how I like to do mine. So what I'm going to do is just put my work flat, and I'm going to just cut off a decent tail, like so. Oops, it's not that long, it's like as long as my finger. And I'm going to get my next colour yarn, which is pink, or whatever colour you want to do for the petals. And what I like to do is I like to go ahead and make a slip knot with my next colour, just like so. I'll get my hook, loop that through, and then I'll pull that loop through the yellow yarn, just like so. And then I'll just turn my work upside down and kind of tie the ends together at in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the loop first on my hook. So I'm going to tighten the yellow loop first, so the loop of my previous colour. And then I'm going to tighten that loop of my pink yarn. So tighten the loop of your second colour. And then I'm going to tie the 2 tail ends together. Don't start tying in your magic circle tail end in by accident. I've done that before. And I'm going to just make a double knot to make everything nice and secure. And now that I've changed colours, we can go ahead and start round 2. Okay. So to start round 2, whenever I change colours, I like to make a slip stitch into the same stitch I'm working in, because I just personally think it makes it neater. I don't really think it makes a difference to your crochet work, but I'm just going to go ahead and make a slip stitch into that same stitch. So what I mean by stitches, I mean I'm going in between that chain 3 and that first double crochet of the round. I'm not going into the actual stitch itself, I'm going in between the stitches, just like so. You don't have to do this, by the way. you can just skip straight to the chain 3. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and I'm going to just pull on the tail ends to get that thing out of the way. There we go. So now again, just like always, this chain 3 will count as a double crochet. This row will consist of double crochet 2 togethers. So for this one, what we're going to do for this first double crochet 2 together, since we are starting with a chain 3, I'm going to go ahead and make a double crochet in that same space, just like so. Now we're going to chain 1. Now in that next space, so in that next space between these 2 stitches of the previous round, I'm going to go into there and make my double crochet 2 together. So to make a double crochet 2 together, you're going to yarn over, go into that space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on my hook, or your hook, and then what you're going to do is yarn over, go back into that same space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over and go ahead and pull through those 3 loops left on your hook, just like so. And that's how you do a double crochet 2 together. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, so 1 and 2. Next I'm going to go into the next space between these 2 double crochets of the previous round and make my second double crochet 2 together. So I'm going to yarn over, go into that next space between these 2 double crochets, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, go back into that space again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through those last 3 loops on my hook, just like so. So between these 2 double crochet 2 togethers, we chain 2. Now we're going to chain 1. Again, go into that next space and make another 2 double crochet 2 together, or sorry, 1 double crochet 2 together, just like so. Now I'm going to chain 2. Again, in that next space, make another double crochet 2 together, and then I'm going to chain 1, and we basically just repeat that all the way around. So we do a double crochet 2 together in one space, chain 1, double crochet 2 together in the next space, chain 2, and we'll alternate between chaining 1 and chaining 2 between each of our double crochet 2 together. And by the end of the row, you should have 16 of chain 2 gaps and 16 chain 1 gaps. And I'll see you at the end of the row, so you just want to carry it on until you finish, so feel free to pause the video now. So because we started the row with a double crochet 2 together chain 1, we should end the row with a double crochet 2 together chain 2. And I'm just going to go into the top of that chain 3 that you see that we made at the start of the round, and I'm going to go ahead and make my slip stitch into that top chain, just like so. And now I'm going to slip stitch straight into this chain 1 space, just like so. So now for this next round, what I'm going to go ahead and do is, since we are in the chain 1 space, I'm going to chain 1 and make a single crochet in the same space. So to make a single crochet, I'm going to go into that chain 1 space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops that I have on my hook. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over and make a double crochet in this chain 2 space. So to make a double crochet, we yarn over, go into that chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull through these 3 loops on my hook all in one go. Now that I've made my double crochet, now that I've made my half double crochet, I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the same chain 2 space. So 1, 2, and now I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to go back into that chain 2 space and repeat. So I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the same space, 1 and 2, and I'm going to make 1 half double crochet in that same space, just like so. This is what it should look like. Next, into this next chain 1 space, I'm going to make 1 single crochet, just like so. And then again, in this next chain 2 space, I'm going to make a half double crochet. I'm going to make 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. I'm going to chain 1 I'm going to go back into that same chain 2 space and make 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and a half double crochet. And this is what it should look like as you crochet along for this row. So into that next chain 1 space, like always, I'm going to make a single crochet, and then in the next chain 2 space, I'm going to carry on and repeat with half double crochet, go back into that same chain 2 space and make 2 double crochets. I'm going to chain 1, go back into that same space and make 2 more double crochets, and go back into that same space one more time to make 1 half double crochet. And then again, I'm going to go into this space here and make a single crochet. And what you want to do is you want to kind of repeat that all the way around. So in every chain 2 space, you'll make a half double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, half double crochet, and in every chain 1 space, you'll make 1 single crochet. Feel free to pause the video now and I'll see you at the end of the round. So now I'm just finishing up in my last chain 2 space. I'm going to make my last 2 double crochets and my last half double crochet of this round. And since we started off with a single crochet, we don't have to do another single crochet in this chain 1 space. We can just go ahead into that single crochet and make a slip stitch, just like so. And now it's time for another color change. Okay, so to start off for this row, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And now, because we're trying to form a corner here to kind of square off our work, I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go back into that same single crochet and make a double crochet, just like so. And now I'm going to chain 2, 1, and 2. And again, I'm going to go back into that same single crochet and make 2 more double crochets into that same stitch. So 1 and 2. Now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now that I've chained 4, I'm going to yarn over and go into the single crochet and make a double crochet. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and make another chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you chain 4, don't pull too tight, otherwise it'll cause your work to kind of curl up. Now in that next single crochet, if you can kind of see it here, I'm going to go ahead and make 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So I'm going to go into that stitch, oops, and make 2 double crochets, 1, go back into that same stitch and make my second double crochet. Now I'm going to chain 2, 1, and 2, go back into that same stitch again and make 2 more double crochets. Now I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to just unravel my yarn a little bit. Okay, again, we're just going to repeat what we did here. So after we've done our chain 4, we're going to make a double crochet into that next single crochet. And then again, we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in that next stitch, we're going to make another corner. So I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Then I'm going to chain 2. And then again, into that same stitch, I'm going to make 2 more double crochets. So for this row, we're basically just repeating our chain 4, double crochet, chain 4 corner. So far for this row, all we have left to do is a chain 4, double crochet, chain 4, 2 double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, and then again, chain 4, double crochet, chain 4, and then we are ready to slip stitch to this corner. And you can go ahead and pause the video now and I'll see you at the end of the round. Okay, so I've just completed my last chain 4 of the round. And I'm going to go ahead and find that first chain 3 that we made at the start of this round, and I'm going to go ahead into that top of that chain. So now that I slip stitch into that chain, we're going to go ahead and change colours. So to start this row, we're going to chain 3 like always, 1, 2, and 3. And the chain 3s of the start of our rows always count as a double crochet. And now what I'm going to do is oh yeah, keep in mind I am crocheting over my tail ends to kind of keep it all weaved in, as you can kind of see here and here. So now what we're going to do is this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet of the row, and for this round I'm going to go into each of the double crochets. So I'm not going to go in between the stitches, but I'm going to go into the top of the stitch, so just like so, and I'm going to make a double crochet. And now in this chain 2 space I'm going to make 2 double crochets, 1, go back into that chain 2 space and 2. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2 again, so 1, 2. So now I'm going to go back into that chain 2 space and make 2 more double crochets, so 1, go back into that same space and make my second double crochet. And now I'm going to go into the top of the next stitch, so just into that stitch there, and make my next double crochet. And then I'll do that again for the next stitch, so I'm going into the top and I'm making my next double crochet. And now for this chain 4, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 4 double crochets into the chain 4 space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to skip this double crochet stitch, and we're going to go ahead and make another 4 double crochets in this chain 4 space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like so. And then again, what I'm going to do into that next space, into the next stitch, I'm going to make a double crochet. And watch how I'm going into the top of the stitch, not in between the stitches. So 1, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch and make my second double crochet. And now, like we did before, I'm going to go into that chain 2 space, make 2 double crochets, 1, now 2, and now I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, go back into that chain 2 space and make 2 more double crochets, so 1 and 2. And just to finish that corner up, I'm going to go into the top of this double crochet here and make 1 double crochet, and again into the top of this next stitch and make 1 more double crochet. And just like that for this round, what we're going to carry on to do next is make 4 double crochets in the chain 4 space, make another 4 double crochets in the next chain 4 space, and then repeat what we did for the corners. So double crochet into each stitch. In the corner in the chain 2, make 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, double crochet into each stitch, and then again make 4 double crochets into the next chain 4s, and you kind of just want to repeat that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Now I've just done my last 4 double crochets in that chain 4 space, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is just slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 that we made at the start of the round, just like so. And we have finished our square, but we have not really finished because we still need to keep going to make the pouch. So for this next row, what's going to happen is we're going to have 2 opposite sides to have double crochets and 2 opposite sides to have half double crochets. No, I'll just show you what to do rather than explain the whole thing. So for this round, what we're going to do to start off, so this is my chain 3 at the start of this round, and this is that half double crochet I made in the start of that previous round. I'm going to go in between the 2 stitches and make a slip stitch, just like so. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Like always, this chain 3 does count as a double crochet at the start of every round. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go in between the next 2 stitches, so in between. So this is me going into the stitch at the top. Instead of me going into the stitch, I'm going a bit lower down in between the stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and make my next double crochet, and then I'll go between the next 2 stitches and make another double crochet. And now in this chain 2 space, I'm going to go ahead and make 2 double crochets, 1, go back into that same space and make my second double crochet. And now this is where it all changes. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, 1 and 2, and I'm going to now make 2 half double crochets in this chain 2 space. So I'm going to just yarn over and pull through all 3 loops of my hook to make my half double crochet, and then go back in again and make my half double crochet, second half double crochet of the round. So I'm going to yarn over, and for this side of the square we're just only going to do half double crochets. So I'm going to go in between the next 2 stitches and make my next half double crochet. So I'm going to go in between those stitches and make a half double crochet, And I'm just going to repeat that all the way across for every single stitch. Okay, so now I've gotten up to my corner, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just make my half double crochets. I'm going to make 2 half double crochets in this chain 2 space, so 1 and 2. Then I'm going to chain 2 and make 2 double crochets in the same space, so 1 and 2. And then again, like before, so like we did on this side, well, not really. I'm going to go ahead and make a double crochets all the way on this side. So I'm going to double crochet into every single stitch up until I get to that chain 2 space, and I'll show you what I do there. So you can pause the video now and then I'll see you up to that chain 2 space. Okay, so now I've gotten up to the chain 2 corner. So I've done double crochets all the way across this row. And now what I'm going to do in that chain 2 space, I'm going to make 2 more double crochets. So 1 and 2. And now I'm going to chain 2. And in that same chain 2 space, I'm going to make 2 half double crochets. So 1 half double crochet and 2. And now just like how we did on this side, I'm going to go ahead and make 1 half double crochet in between every single stitch, all the way up until I get to that chain 2 corner here. So you want to go ahead and make a half double crochet between every single stitch, and you can pause the video now and I'll see you up until I get to this chain 2 space. So now that I've gotten up to that chain 2 space, I'm going to go ahead and make 2 half double crochets in that chain 2 space, chain 2, and make 2 double crochets into that same chain 2 space. So just to carry on for this final row, we're going to go ahead and double crochet between every stitch. And please do not skip any stitches. Okay, so now I've just gotten up to the start of the row. So I've gotten up to that chain 3. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is go into that top of that chain 3 and make a slip stitch. And for the rest of this pattern, we are just going to crochet in between every single stitch. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slip stitch until the end, because I want to start each row from the start and not in the middle. So when you slip stitch into the top of every stitch and slip stitch loosely. So like this. Don't pull on your yarn too much, otherwise it will cause the stitches to kind of curl up. So I'm going to slip stitch all the way into that last stitch, and then I'm going to make 1 more slip stitch into that chain 2 space. So to start the next row, I'm going to go ahead and chain 3 and turn. This chain 3, like always, will count as a double crochet for this round. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go in between these 2 stitches here and make my next double crochet. And for this round, we're basically just going to double crochet into every previous stitch, or in between every previous stitch, just like so. So I'm going in between these 2 stitches. Again, you can go into the top of every stitch, but I kind of like how this looks. And I did it for the previous pouch and I kind of want them to match. So I'm going to go in between these 2 stitches here, make a double crochet. Again, make a double crochet, and just repeat that all the way until the end, in between these 2 last stitches as well, and then 1 more double crochet into this chain 2 space. That's the end of this row, and this is like what your work will look like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. So now for this round you should have 19 double crochets including your chain 3, and from this round onwards you should carry on just having 19 double crochets including your chain 3. So again, for this round I'm going to just go in between every double crochet after I've made my chain 3, and just like the previous round we should have a total of 19 double crochets. And yeah, you just want to keep crocheting all the way until the end of the round, and I'll see you there. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my double crochet between these last 2 stitches here. and this is what it should look like so far. So far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of double crochet in the white. I'm going to make one more row of double crochet between every single stitch, and then once I get to the end of the row, I'll show you what to do next. So I've just gotten to the end of this row, and I'm going to make my last double crochet between these 2 stitches here, and now I'm going to chain 2. And for this final round, we're going to make half double crochets all the way across. And I'm going to do it in the same way. So in between every stitch, I'm going to yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through the 3 loops on my hook in one go, just like so. And I'm just going to make half double crochets in between every stitch, and we'll go all the way until the end of the round, and I'll see you there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make my last 2 half double crochets into these last stitches. And now it's time to tie off, so that is our front panel done. So I'm going to cut off a nice little tail end, like this much. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through to kind of like make a knot and pull it tight. So this is our front panel done. So in the meantime, you want to go ahead and just kind of block this, or you want to go ahead and iron it or steam it or whatever, just kind of make it straight and nice. And now what we're going to do is, for the back panel, we're going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 20. Now that I've chained 20, I'm going to chain 2 more, 1 and 2. I'm going to make a double crochet in the 4th chain from my hook. So this is my first chain, the one that's gone quite small. This is my second, this is my third, and this is my 4th. So I'm going to go ahead and make a double crochet in the 4th chain from my hook, just like so. And this row will literally consist of double crocheting into every single chain, and you should have a total of 20 double crochets, including the first chain 3 that you had made, basically this chain 3 here. And yeah, so you want to just keep double crocheting all the way until the end of the row, and I'll see you there. So right now I'm just going to go into the last 2 chains and make my 19th and my 20th double crochet. I'm just going to pull on that tail end to kind of make it tighter a little bit, and this is what your first row should look like. And now this back panel is extremely simple. All we're going to do is just make double crochets for every single row for a total of 13 rows. So this is our first row done. All we have to do is 12 more rows of double crochet. But yeah, like I said before, just go ahead, keep crocheting until your 13th round, and you can pause the video now and I'll see you there. Right now I'm just doing the last 2 double crochets of the 13th round. And this is what your back panel should look like. So for my final 14th round, I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2 and turn. And then in between every stitch, I'm just going to make half double crochets all the way across. Once we finish the row, we can get ready to start joining the 2 panels together. Okay, so now I'm just doing my last half double crochet of the row. And when you join 2 panels together, you want to make sure the right sides are facing each other. So the right side is basically the side that looks nice. This is my right side, this is my wrong side. For this panel, I'm going to have this side as my right side because I'm working this way anyways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just chain 1 and just go into that half double crochet. So in between these 2 stitches here, I'm not sure if it's focusing. So just right into this half double crochet here. And I'm going to go in between these 2 half double crochets on this side as well. When you do that, make sure your yarn is just on top of your crochet hook. I'm going to move that tail end out of the way. So I'm just going to go into this side here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just yarn over and pull through both panels, and yarn over and pull through both loops on my hook to make a single crochet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this double crochet here. I'm going to go into this next row of this double crochet here. So this is my half double crochet I just went into, and this is the next row. I'm going into that double crochet, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through both panels to make a single crochet. For the side of every double crochet will equal to 2 single crochets. So for this double crochet side, I've made 1 single crochet. I'm going to go back into the same double crochet on this side and into the same double crochet in the back panel here, and make my second double crochet. So without including this half double crochet row, we have a total of 13 double crochet rows, and that means we'll have 26 single crochets across the side. So I'm going to go into that next double crochet. So this is that first row done. I'm going to go into that second row on this panel. I'm going to go into that second row of this panel, make my first double crochet, sorry, single crochet. I'm going to go back into that same stitch on both sides, so into that same double crochet of that second row, and make my second single crochet. I'm going to do that again. I'm not going into the actual stitch itself, I'm just going in between last stitch and second to last stitch of each row to go into that stitch again, well, in between that stitch. I'm going to do that again on this side here, make my next single crochet, and then do it again in the same 2 stitches to make my second single crochet. Again, before doing this step, I recommend ironing your 2 panels first. I didn't, but I just recommend doing it because it makes it so much easier and you can align your work so much more easier. So in that next row, again, I'm going to make 2 double crochets. So basically gotten up to, well, now that we've basically finished the rows, we finished crocheting the rows together, we're getting up to the tricky part. So we're getting up to crocheting into these actual double crochet stitches. So what I like to do here is I'm just going to count how many stitches I have, including this chain 1 space. So including this chain 1 space, I should have 20 stitches. I do not have 20 stitches left here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many rows I have yet to stitch together. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, including the one that I've just went into. So now what we're going to do is we're going to crochet 2 stitches into every row, including the row that we've just crocheted into. So I'm going to go back into that same row and I'm going to go into the next 2 stitches and crochet them together. So I'm going to make my first single crochet for the first row, just like so, and then back into that same stitch and make my next single crochet in that second stitch, going into that same double crochet of this panel. I'm going to go in between into this next double crochet here, and I'm going to make a single crochet into that next half double crochet, just like so. I'm going to go back into that same stitch, or in between that same stitch of this front panel, go into the next stitch of the back panel and make another single crochet, and then again for that next stitch. And watch how I'm still making 2 single crochets per every double crochet, it's just that I'm now stitching 2 stitches together per double crochet. So I'm going to go back into that same double crochet and single crochet that next stitch together. And then again, I'm going to go into that next double crochet, go into that next stitch of the back panel, make a single crochet, and then again, go back into that same double crochet, go into the next stitch of that back panel, another single crochet. So again, just carry on like normal. We're going to 2 stitches per every double crochet. So I'm going to go into that next row here. So now for this last part, I'm going to go into that chain 3, so that last row, go into that next stitch and make another single crochet, and then back again into that same chain 3 or that same double crochet. I'm going to go into that chain 2 space of the previous round and make another single crochet. So I hope that wasn't very confusing for you guys. So this is what it should look like on this side, so it looks pretty neat. And basically for these rows here, we do 2 single crochets per row, just so like it's nice and stretchy and even. And then for this part here, when we stitch these 2 panels, we do 2 stitches per 1 double crochet side. So yeah. Now what we're going to do is because we have the same amount of stitches on both sides for this row, so including this chain 1 here, I currently have 20 stitches on this side and I have 20 stitches on this side because I started off with 20 at the start of the row. So I'm going to go into the first stitch of this row and I'm going to go into this next stitch of the back panel and make another single crochet. and I'll do that again. So I'll go into the stitch here, into the stitch of the back panel, and make another single crochet. So I'm going to go into the next stitch, I'm going to go into the stitch of the back panel and make a single crochet, and then again. And you kind of just want to repeat this all the way around. So I'm just going to go into the stitch here of the front panel and the next stitch in the back panel and make a single crochet, and then again. And you want to just keep joining both front and back panels together until you get up to the end of the row. And you can go ahead and pause the video now and I'll show you what to do for the other side. So now I'm just going to go into my last 2 stitches of the front panel and the last stitch of the back panel and make a single crochet, and into the last stitch, or basically this chain 2 space of the back panel, and make my next single crochet. Now we're ready to do it on the side, and now you want to do the same thing. So basically I'm just going to go back into that same chain 3, that first chain 3 of the round of this back row here. So like this, into this front panel, and then I'm going to go into that first stitch, or basically that chain 2 space of the back panel, and make a single crochet. I'm going to go back into that same double crochet and then into the next stitch of the previous back panel and then make another single crochet. Then I'll go into that next double crochet here, go into the next stitch of the back panel and make a single crochet. There we go. Then I'm going to go back into this front panel, the double crochet of the front panel, go into the next stitch of the back panel and make another single crochet. And then I'll go into this next double crochet here, go into the next stitch of the back panel, make another single crochet, go into that same double crochet of the front panel, go into the next stitch of the back panel and make another single crochet. And then I'll just repeat that for every single row. So go into that same double crochet into that next stitch. So I'll just keep on repeating that until I get up to this 11th row here. So I'll have 2 stitches per every double crochet. So I'm currently on my 10th row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go into that double crochet of the 10th row. I'm going to go into the next stitch of the back panel, make a single crochet. I'm going to go back into that same double crochet and I'm going to go into that chain 2 space here of the back panel and make another single crochet. So now on this side I have 1, 2, 3 rows left, and on this back panel here I have 1, 2, 3 and that half double crochet row left to join together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into that next double crochet of the next row. I'm going to go into this double crochet of this row here and make 1 single crochet. I'll go back into the same double crochets and make a second single crochet. I'll do the same for the next stitch in the next row on both panels, make 2 single crochets. Again for the next double crochet in both panels and make 2 more double crochets. And then I'm going to go into the side of that half double crochet. So I'm literally just going into the double crochet here, and I'll go into the double crochet here and make another single crochet. And this is what it should look like so far. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the first half double crochet of this front panel and the half double crochet of the back panel and make another single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to just kind of separate these 2 panels now, and I'm going to go into the first half double crochet of this panel and make a single crochet. So I'm not going into any of the stitches from the back. And now in the next stitch I'm going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through and make a half double crochet. I'm going to go back into the same stitch and make a double crochet, and I'll go back into that same stitch once again to make a half double crochet. In that next stitch I'm going to make a single crochet, and then again in that next stitch I'm going to make a half double crochet, and back into that same stitch and make a half double crochet. Into the next stitch I'm going to make a single crochet, and we're basically alternating. So I'm going to do 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 half double crochet in the same stitch, and then in that next stitch I'm going to make 1 single crochet, and this should kind of give you that scallop border effect. So again, in that next stitch I'm going to make a half double crochet, a double crochet, and another half double crochet. In the next stitch I'm going to make a single crochet, and you want to just keep doing it all the way around. I will keep making these borders up until here, and I'll show you how I kind of get past this seam. And so you can pause the video now, get up to that part, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I'm getting relatively close to this seam, so I'm going to go into that next stitch and make a single crochet, and then I'll go into that next stitch and carry on like normal, make my half double crochet, my double crochet, and my half double crochet again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this next half double crochet here and make another single crochet. So I've kind of just ignored that seam. You don't really need to crochet into it or anything, and then I'll just carry on like normal. So I'll make my half double crochet, my double crochet, and my half double crochet my next stitch, then my single crochet in the next stitch, and again you want to just carry that all the way around until you get up to this part, and then I'll show you how I slip stitch it together. Okay, so since we have started with a single crochet, you should finish off with a cluster of half double crochet, double crochet, and another half double crochet in the same stitch, just like so. And now I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made of the round, just like so, and then I'll cut off a nice tail and then yarn over and pull through, and this is what your pouch should look like with the border. It looks pretty weird without the cord around it, but what I like to do here is, now that I've kind of took this end off, I'm going to weave it between these single crochets that I've made when joining these panels together, and then before I just cut off my ends, I like to just hot glue it down so it stays in place and is nice and secure, and then I'll go ahead and cut it off. So just like so, and then I'll glue it down towards this stitch here, and then I'll cut it off. Same for these ones, I'll just glue these ends close to this stitch, and then I'll just literally cut it off. If you haven't weaved it through while crocheting, I would recommend you use a tapestry needle or your crochet hook to kind of weave your ends in between the stitches, make a little knot and tie it off, or you can hot glue it down and tie it off. Once you've weaved in all your ends, want to make a nice little cord to kind of tie this bag together like this. A cord is literally just a loads of chains, so I'll be chaining like 40. I've just chained about 70, and I'm just going to cut off a nice little tail, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through to kind of make a knot. You can chain as many chains as you want, and you can also keep your tail ends out as well. I like to do that as well just for some extra added length. And I'm just going to cut them both to size. And now what I'm going to do is just turn this inside out, and I'm going to just start from this row here, so the third row up from my granny square, and I'm just going to weave these tail ends in and out of every single stitch. This part is really simple. You literally just put your hook through between every stitch and just weave the cord in and out. You can also put your cord through a tapestry needle and do it, but I like to just use my crochet hook. Just be careful not to pull on any of the chains in your cord, otherwise like it will look quite scruffy. And yeah, you kind of want to do that all the way around until about up to here. You don't want to pull your cord all the way through because you want to be able to tie it together. I chained about 70. I would recommend you do more, like 80, 90 or 100, just to, it depends on how long you want it. But this is kind of what it should look like, and once you tie it together, you just pull both of the ends tightly and then just make a little bow, and you'll basically just see it all come together. So yeah, I did crochet 70 chains, but I recommend you do 80 or more, and this is what your little pouch should look like. It can fit in a lot, and it is the same length as my crochet hook. And yeah, that's today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked today's tutorial, please like and subscribe. If you would like to send any comments on what videos I should make next or how to improve my videos, please comment down below. Any comments are very appreciated. Thank you for watching. Bye.